Hello there, and welcome to what is a very hastily put together video. It's set to come out on Friday, which is already delayed, but I'm filming this on Thursday. So, yeah, forgive me for the slightly smaller scope of this one. I just need to get a video out. I've been very busy this week. Either way, onto the actual video. I think it's no secret that not all rides are perfect. Dare I even say, I don't think there is or ever could be such a thing as a perfect ride. But that's a speech for a whole other day. But of course, when there's great rides, there has to be bad rides. And today, I'm going to look into, give a brief analysis, and then maybe even try to compliment rides that I actively dislike. Anyway, before we get into it, I thought I'd just share some interesting things in my findings for this. So I picked 5 rides. I don't know if I've done 10. I picked 5 rides that I don't like. 4 of them are flat rides, and 1 of them is a coaster. I don't know what this says about me, except I do know what this says about me, because out of those 5 rides, 4 of them were flat rides, and 1 of them was a coaster. Which tells me that, 1, I love water rides, which is true, because there's none of them in there, and flat rides tend to be the worst demographic of ride. Anyway, that is enough yammering for right now, because let's get into it. I'm going to be going from the ride I dislike the least to the one I dislike the most. I hate this one. This one down here, get rid of it, blow it up, demolish it! So, getting into it. First up, we have Ghost Train.
It's a fact that statistically, 11% of you are afraid of the dark.
Now, I'll start off this segment with the obligatory speech that comes with any time anyone talks badly about Ghost Train. This is not a critique of the actors. The actors inside, at least for the one ride I had, they did an incredible job. I think it's just the ride is the problem here.
Halt! Hello there, this is an interjection from editing me. I could not find any footage of Ghost Train, so anything you see in the Ghost Train section of this video is from Derren Brown's Ghost Train, not the modern version. For those of you who are unaware, Derren Brown's Ghost Train is what Ghost Train replaced. It's basically the same ride, just with a different story. Anyway, I'll let this guy get back to yammering.
So we'll go back to the first and only time I've ever done Ghost Train, and I actually conveniently have filmed a vlog from that day. Look, here it is now! Goodness me, I'm so young. And that day, Ghost Train, even before the ride, it did not have a good run of it. I queued about, I'm going to say about an hour and a half. It broke down. We all got kicked out of the queue, got fast tracks. I had a mighty old rant in this video. This video, again, look at me go, I'm ranting. Because we got given fast tracks, which then couldn't be used on Ghost Train to come back to it later. So that was annoying. And then, right at the end of the day, I queued another hour and a half, and it didn't break down this time. Hooray! I finally got on the ride, and, I mean, it had 4 hours of, almost 4 hours of queue building up to it. So, was it any good? No. It was terrible. Of course, that's why I went on it. It was back in its opening year, which I think is 2023, although there'll be big bit of text on the screen if I'm wrong. But I believe it was back then, so it's been... Oh my god, it's been 3... Goodness me, sorry, I've just read how long ago that was. So yeah, it's been 3 years, so I don't know if it's changed or improved since then, but I'm going off of maybe a month or so after opening day. But I'll be going off of that one ride. So, as I said, the actors do an incredible job. They do the best with what they're given. It's just everything around the ride is a major problem. For a start, the queue is just cattle pen, on cattle pen, on cattle pen. And while the posters, referring to old rides from the park, they're nice, but they're not nice after about 30 minutes straight of looking at them, because that queue, my goodness, it does not move. You are going to be stood still for hours on end before you do anything in that queue. Once we get into the ride, and also now there'll be light spoilers. I'll try not to give away too much, but there will still be some spoilers for inside the ride. And bear in mind, like I said, this is all going off of my memory from about 3 years ago, and I don't remember the ride too well. But the first pre-show is nothing special, but nothing too bad. You then head through, and I think you hit another room. I don't remember. All I remember is at some point, I think it might have been here, they played Believer by Imagine Dragons, which, trust me, that was the peak of comedy. I don't know what it is about that song specifically. I just found that incredibly funny. That in this dark, scary, somewhat serious Ghost Train, they're playing Believer by Imagine Dragons. They're just playing any Imagine Dragons song. They're just playing any Imagine Dragons song at Thorpe Park. I think that's comical enough for me. The actual train section is cool. I do still like the train section. I don't like that they don't have the floating train anymore. But of course that wouldn't really make sense for the story, since, well, the train has to travel on tracks now. But so while I do really miss the floating train effect, it's still a nice section. But anyway, after you head through the train section where I don't think anything happens, you reach this weird other showroom, which is alright, I guess. I mean, I don't know, the actors were once again hard carrying it. and then you're rushed out of that room, back onto the train, where, oh no, something happens! Nuns! Yeah, I don't know either. I think they were nuns at least. Like I say, once again, I'm going off of a memory from 3 years ago, but I vividly remember that in that one particular section, there was nuns or something else that really did not fit with the ride. And then they had... And okay, I know I said Believer was the peak of comedy, but this is the peak of comedy. They had See It, Say It sorted immediately after all the spooky stuff happened. My goodness, laughter from around the carriage. Goodness me, that I will admit, I'll give it to them. That's quite funny. And then you leave. Actually, no, you don't. You don't leave. I think I heard that they've now removed this, but back when I wrote it, they still do the fake gift shop from the end of Darren Brown's. Except this time, it's not a monster that pops out from behind the wall. Guess what it is? Brace yourself. You're gonna want to sit down for this. It's very scary. Thorpe Park staff member. Ah! I don't know what they were thinking. I think within the story the staff member got possessed or something. But no offense to like Jim the Ride Op, but I don't think I'm going to be scared by Jim the Ride Op going at the wall at me. And then you leave the ride. And actually, I'll play the clip from that very vlog from just after I left the ride.
We're done. That was an experience. I'll say that to be the least. I won't like spoil anything. I'll give a very quick like spoiler. Spoiler-free review quickly. It gave off very strong like A-level drama presentation vibes. I'll admit, but
there we go. See, look at that. I am thrilled. I'm riveted. Anyway, before we move on to the next ride, I'm going to do this for all of them. I'm going to do my best to compliment each ride I actively hate. And for Ghost Train, it's just going to be, for what they have, the actors do an incredible job. I'll give it to the actors. They do give it their all, even if the script they've been fed is awful. Anyway, moving on because I spent far too long talking about Ghost Train. Next up is small chair swings. I've only ever encountered them at Gulliver's Parks. My goodness, they are just pointless. I think they're probably one of the only rides that I actively choose to just stand off to the side and watch them instead of getting on them. Simply just because it's such a whole fuss and palaver to get on them. Like, you have to wiggle yourself into the seat as it's swinging, you have to try and catch it. The seatbelt, every time without fail, goes missing or I'm sat on it. And then all of that for the most underwhelming ride experience maybe ever. So I don't have much to say about these, it's just I find them really boring. So boring and such a fuss to get onto that I just don't bother riding them. And if I had to compliment it, it's really easy to get spinning on these. I know you're probably not meant to spin, but, I mean, don't tell the parks, but I'm a bit of a rebel, you know? I spin on these. But now, if you kick your legs out at the right time, you get a good sway going, and I guess that's quite fun. You can't... I don't find you can do that as well on the big ones. It only really works on these small ones. But yeah, that's probably the only redeeming quality for this ride. But coming up next is a ride I, once again, have only been on once. It is Time Machine. That's right. While it is a fan favourite, and of course I do commend the fact that they have, you know, that Adventure Island built this in-house. This is their ride. No, there is unlike anything else in the world. Oh my god, this ride was. I think it's probably one of the only rides I'd say it was just a bit too much for me. I think the problem mainly stems from the fact that it wasn't running its full cycle. I don't know what was up with it on the day, but it didn't run its full spin you around cycle. It just kind of tilted us up. It didn't even tilt us up. It just lifted us up, held us on our backs, and then we just spun. For about 5 minutes straight, we just spun round. Oh my god, I've never felt so dizzy and sick coming off of a ride. I mean, don't get me wrong, next time I go, I definitely have to try it again to try out like the full cycle. Because, who knows, maybe that could be better. This is a really specific side tangent. But I'm already not great with, like, when rides have me on my back. Specifically, when I'm on my back and being shaken around, I'm looking at you, Galactica, you rough old ride you. Just the way I get shook around. I don't like being shook around on my back. And I find that Time Machine was very much so a similar thing to that. Just being spun around, shaken about a little bit on my back. Oh, goodness me, no. So maybe the full ride sequence where I'm like on my side and on my front. This is not my front. I'm no longer looking at you. Hello. Where I'm on my side and on my front. Maybe that will be better. Who knows? So I'll definitely give it a go next time I'm there. But my goodness, from the one ride I had, this nearly killed me. It was ridiculous. Although, of course, my compliment for the ride, is, of course, just, if anything, it's just a compliment to Adventure Island. For a ride that they've built themselves in-house, oh my gosh, it's insane. The fact that they've managed to build, what I'd argue, to some people, it could probably be seen as one of the best flat rides, but it's definitely one of the most intense flat rides in the country, all by themselves, without a manufacturer. That needs commending. That is incredible. Anyway, we're getting near the end now. We're in the final 2 rides, and we have my least favourite coaster and my least favourite flat ride coming up next. But I'll start off with my least favourite coaster, Antelope. Now, Antelope is located at one of the Gulliver's parks. I don't remember which one. They all have very similar names, and I don't remember which one it is. But it's located at one of them. And you know what? Going into it, I had quite high hopes for this ride. I thought... It didn't look particularly thrilling or anything, but I thought it was going to be mediocre. My word. This is the roughest roller coaster I think I've ever been on in my life. Even Grand National can't hold up to how just painfully rough and boring this was. The whole ride can be summed up as you're either going like 2 miles an hour around a turn, or you're being shaken about so violently, and there is no in between with this. There's no like moment where it's any good. There's no break, there's no fast section, it's just slow, rough, and there's just no stopping with this ride. I don't know how it's so rough. Like, let's look back almost 100 years to Roller Coaster at Great Yarmouth. How does that, which has a very similar layout, run so smooth, yet the Antelope, I tell you, I got to the bottom of the first drop, and it folded me. I was feeling that for the next like 5 days. How do they keep Roller Coaster at Great Yarmouth running so well, but Antelope is the worst thing ever? Well, I can probably tell you how, because it's a Gulliver's Park, and they probably don't have the money to constantly be investing in retracking the ride. But goodness me, they either need to do that or get rid of it. Okay, I mean that's a bit dramatic, but they need to do something about that ride, because it was so rough and then also so boring. Anytime it could have been exciting, it ruined it by being rough. And anytime it wasn't rough, it was a slow, boring turn. Anyway, if I have to give it a compliment, which, unfortunately, I'm really reaching this one, I guess a compliment could be that it's a very big and ambitious coaster for Gulliver's. I don't know the full history, so I don't know if Gulliver's built it or if they acquired that park or something. But considering it's easily the biggest coaster at any Gulliver's park, I think it's really unique in that regard. It's just the problem of it isn't a good ride. Anyway, here we are, the worst of the worst. My least favourite ride, maybe ever. Brace yourself, it's Rush. That's right, this S&S Scream and Swing at Thorpe Park. I can't even pinpoint what it is about this ride. So, before we get into trying to dissect what my personal issue with this ride is, let's just get into the drawbacks of the actual ride itself. For a start, the cycle is just so comically short. You get maybe 1 or 2 big swings and then it ends. Like I always say, if it's going to be a bad ride, it might as well commit to it for more than 2 big swings. But no, you spend about 30 seconds winding up, you get 2 big swings, that's great, and then it ends. And that's it. You queued half an hour for that. That's another thing, actually. The queue is always ridiculous for this thing. This ride might be the biggest GP magnet of all time. My goodness, everyone flocks to Rush. We all got to ride Rush right now. And then they all end up disappointed because it runs for 3 seconds long. Also, it's loud. It is loud as anything. Standing in that queue, or near the ride, or on the complete opposite side of the park, you will hear the every time it does anything. These massive air tanks go at you. Sorry to spat everywhere. Goodness me. Anyway, that's all the problems with the ride itself. But it goes further, because I have a personal issue with this ride, and I don't even know what it is. Something about it, I just do not like it. On paper, this sounds like it would be a perfect ride experience for me. You know, it's basically like a big gyro swing in a way. But for some reason, I hate this ride. I don't know if I'd say it scares me, but oh my god, it gets close. I don't know if it's just something about like the fact that it's just a very weird it like comes up over the side lap bar, or just the very nature of the ride. It's just something about it. I don't enjoy the ride experience, which in a way is kind of going against what I said, because if it went on for more huge swings, then I would have more of a bad time on it. But I think if it did do more big swings, I would be exposed to more of them and I would get to love the ride slowly. Because I think Rush does have the potential to redeem itself. I just need to kind of get over whatever this weird, non-fear is about the ride. I just need to, go on it enough to get over that. But it's just something about that restraint. That lap bar is built different to all the other ones I've been on, I'm convinced. I mean, I don't remember exactly where it sits, but it either sits, hang on, I'm going to just bring the camera down a sec so you can see. Look at this. Look, you get an exclusive view. Look at that desk view. But the lap bar either sits there or there, and there's no in between. I don't think it sits like where lap bars should. It sits there or there. Sorry, you have to see that. That is a behind-the-scenes view of what is down there. It's desk and me. But I think it's just something about the lap bar that I really don't like. It never feels tight enough. Anyway, that is all for Rush. So, and I guess if I really, really have to compliment it, I've been thinking about 20 minutes before this video as well, and I just can't pull up anything. I don't think this ride has a single redeeming quality, other than the potential to maybe, if I get a good ride on it, redeem itself one day. Actually, wait, I know what big compliment is. The biggest compliment for Rush is that glorious sound the restraints make. Editor, that's me. Hit that sound right now! Oh, what a sound! Again! My god, oh, it's just beautiful again! Yeah, forget Taron's launch. That sound, oh, that does something. But that is the only good part of Rush, pulling the restraint down and getting to hear the as it comes down. Oh, what a noise. Anyway, that is all for this video. Sorry for the slightly hastily put together feeling of it. That's because it was hastily put together. Goodbye, all. Except I do know what this says about me. It says that I love water rides, because there's none of them in there. And flat